Hi, welcome to this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings. I'm your host, Liv Anderson. This month, we will be covering a range of topics, such as festive December light shows, cultural restaurants in Lancaster, and much more that you can view on this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings. On average, Pennsylvania gets over 38 inches of snow. PennDot helps Pennsylvanians out by maintaining our roads in all the seasons. McGuire Eunice reports.
Today, I'm here at PennDOT's stockpile located in Columbia, PA, to interview some drivers and gather some more information on how PennDOT is preparing for the wintertime. Dennis Biley works for PennDOT as a snowplow driver in the wintertime and year-round as a transportation equipment operator.
On a daily basis, we replace pipes, we make sure all the drains are clear, like if a storm's coming. We fix potholes. The storm approaches, we come in and we load up the trucks. We go out on our plow routes and sometimes we'll pre-treat. Most of the newer trucks have salt brine tanks on. We'll go out and pre-treat with some salt brine.
Salt brine is a mixture made from rock salt and water. The mixture allows ice formations to drop its freezing point, allowing the ice to melt. Then drivers make a second run to plow the leftover snow on the road. Dennis also makes a point to stay clear of the snow plows and drivers so they can do their jobs and keep you safe.
Let the plow truck drivers do their job. Everybody's in a hurry to get in front of the plow truck, and then you see them up the road a little bit, stuck in a ditch, and we can't stop and help them. We just keep going.
Brad Nelson is an assistant highway maintenance manager for Lancaster County PennDOT. The county itself has a $2.9 million budget for wintertime and has over 50 plow trucks with multiple features.
They can control the pounds that are coming out, meaning how much tonnage is coming out of the truck that they're spreading. They can slow the spinner up to that way it's not spreading so far out. They can keep it in tight. Like if they're going up a hill and they want to do that lane, they can turn their pounds up where the salt's coming out faster and the spinner's running real slow. That way it's going right in that lane.
Pennsylvanians also have the ability to see if local roads have been plowed and are safe to travel on.
Yes, it's 511. It's an app that they have. They can actually follow our trucks to see where they have been and where they haven't been.
PennDOT maintains nearly 40,000 miles of roads and 25,000 bridges statewide, which translate into nearly 95,000 snow lane miles, enough to circle the globe nearly 4 times. To tackle this task, PennDOT uses a variety of equipment and machinery. Reporting for Hempfield Happenings, I'm McGuire Eunice.
Hempfield Student Council put on a basket raffle for the school, but there's much more to the raffle than just the pooling of the tickets.
I'm here, right outside the Performing Arts Center, where the Hempfield Student Council basket raffle took place. I took a deeper look into what led into the pooling of the tickets.
Mr. Enoch, one of the Student Council advisors, explains the basics of this basket raffle.
It started at our first faculty meeting. We gave this idea out to teachers. They ran with it. And by the middle of November, we had collected about 30 baskets. Clubs, teachers, students collected items and developed baskets based on themes. We put pictures out in the cafeteria. We advertised through social media as well as the morning announcements. From there, we just used the cafeteria to kind of home base for the week before the variety show. Students could buy tickets, put them in the raffle bins in the cafeteria. And the variety show, we also had the baskets out, and the community members could come in and purchase raffle tickets as well. And then those baskets then were raffled off at the variety show.
But this wasn't just a basket raffle. It was also a fundraiser for people needing help.
The actual fundraiser that we did is to create a separate account to help Hempfield's high school students and their families. So we are directly looking to help families that have experienced a sudden tragedy, a sudden loss, a sudden situation that they did not see coming, and they desperately need some help.
There you go.
This idea was not a new one, but rather one that had been waiting for the right time of use.
So 2 years ago, Mr. Daig approached me about needing a way to have some funds that were available because we had some situations that had come up, and he wanted to have some funds that were available to help in any of these situations that we wouldn't necessarily obviously be able to know were coming.
For the past couple years, it has been a goal of Mr. Daig's, but during the pandemic, it wasn't really able to be done. So right when I came in, I decided that it really needed to be done this year, and I think that it's such a great cause, how could we not?
This doesn't just benefit the people that are on the receiving end, but also the ones that are on the giving end.
I felt really good about it. I was really excited to stand on stage at the end of the show and announce, how much money we raised. It really felt good that I could be behind that and really make that happen this year.
I wanted students to see it as helping each other out, helping your classmates out, but it could be, you in the future.
22-6.
In hard times like these, support from the community and especially schools shows to be important.
It's a great opportunity for us to come together as a Hempfield community, to get excited about something. In the last 2 years, there hasn't been a lot to be excited about, but this was something that we could rally around, and it's raising money for a really good cause.
Ultimately, it was something that we wanted the school to see, that we do care about some of these situations that come up that some people may never know about. And we want students to understand that the money is there, and if they need it, we're going to be able to kind of reach out and help them. So I think one of the biggest things I just wanted to stress is that we do truly care about our students, and if things happen, we're going to do everything in our power to help you and your family.
So this is the way we can help pick someone back up onto their feet again. I think that would be such a great feeling that that the school is behind you and that they're going the extra mile to make sure that you're okay, in your personal life.
With the help of the Hempfield Foundation, the basket raffle raised a grand total of $5,000 for the Hempfield High School Emergency Fund. It is hoped that this event will plant roots in Hempfield as a long-lasting tradition. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Morgan Wilfong.
Now I'm here with Miss Irwin-Bass, Hempfield's new Director of Communications. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me here today.
That's great. So when did you become Hempfield's new Director of Communications?
I started in September, right after the Labor Day break, so almost from the beginning of the year, but not quite.
Gotcha. So what were you prior to this? What was the build-up before coming here?
Sure. Well, I started my career as a journalist, and I was a reporter who was covering a local school district here in Lancaster County, and I was hired away to become their first community relations director for the school district. Stayed there for several years, and then after that I moved on to some nonprofit work where I worked for an organization that supported businesses throughout Lancaster County. I also have some marketing agency experience, and I teach part-time. Currently I teach in the communications department at Millersville University, and I've also taught at Elizabethtown College as well.
Where did you go for school?
Sure. I graduated from Millersville University, and then I earned my master's degree from Shippensburg University in Communication Studies.
So what exactly do you do as the Director of Communications?
Sure. As the Director of Communications, it's my responsibility to basically communicate the events, news, activities, etc., of the district to internal and external audiences. So internally that means, to students, teachers, staff throughout the district in the various buildings, and externally that means outreach to parents, families, residents of the district, businesses, the business community within the district, media, and then other organizations that we work closely with as well.
Mm-hmm. What are some hardships that you have to deal with as the director of communications here?
One of the things is you have to be good at kind of thinking on your feet, because sometimes things come up, rather suddenly that you have to be able to address. And I think, somewhat related to that is you don't plan when things happen that you must communicate, whether it's, an emergency or a crisis or just something that happens during off hours. So to a certain degree, you're kind of always on the clock in terms of maybe having to respond to certain emergency or crises.
So you said that you started back in September as the director. Mm-hmm. How have things for you personally been going since then?
Sure. Well, there's certainly a lot to learn. It's a rather large district with a lot of different, schools within the district, and a lot of people, and just getting to know the community as well. But one of the things that I've taken the advantage of doing is working on a complete communications audit, which is just looking at all of the different channels and the ways that we communicate, both internally and externally, the frequency of that, who the target audiences are, and then really, trying to assess whether or not there are any gaps there. Could we be doing a better job communicating to certain audiences, or maybe a little bit more frequent, et cetera. So I'm in the process now of kind of analyzing all of that, and then we'll make some recommendations on how we can be more efficient and effective with our communications.
Your job, so it's mainly about communicating out to people, reaching out. So I'm sure you'd have a lot to do with COVID and letting people know all the updates about that. How exactly does that go for you?
Sure. So we started a landing page or a web page on the district website that is kind of about all things COVID. So there we have any kind of updates or news, information, resources for people, answers to frequently asked questions. We also update a COVID case chart every week that we have to do for the state, but we also want to make sure that the community is aware and can get that information easily as well.
Gotcha. So another thing, you help out with what we do, Hempfield Happenings. Mm-hmm. How has that experience been for you?
Well, it's actually probably one of the best parts of the job is really, is working with students, and especially, students who are interested in communications, who are getting into the field. So, I am able to help just with, maybe on story angles, how to pitch stories, story ideas, and things like that. But it's really a pleasure for me to get to work, hands-on with the students, and help them along in their career if this is what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Across the world, people struggle with mental health, with only around 41% actually reaching out for help. I spoke with guidance counselor Mr. Sharp for a better understanding.
It's not like we have different brains. Your academic brain, your social and emotional brain, they're both the same brain. And what we understand with all the most leading neuroscience, we understand our emotional cognition, our emotional thinking precedes our academic learning. So for our students to be healthy enough to learn, they need to be in good mental health.
1 in 5 Americans have struggled with their mental health. 1 in 25 experiencing serious mental illness, according to the School of Social Work. 20% of the youth experience a mental health condition, in addition to the 73% of college students. But how do you, as an individual, know if you're struggling with your mental health?
In the behavioral health screen, we screen students for early warning signs for depression, anxiety, bullying, trauma, and suicide.
Hempfield offers not only the mental health and behavioral evaluations, but also resources on the Hempfield School District website, where you can find information about counseling and social and emotional services, as well as resources to call for immediate help.
Even students feel very strongly about the way the school handles mental health.
It causes a lot of stress, school in general. I think the evaluations are really helpful and help people get an understanding about how they're feeling.
But what should you do if you suspect a loved one is struggling with their mental health?
Well, there are a few different ways that we can talk about it. One is just to be supportive and to be listening. You don't have to be a therapist to be supportive and listen to other individuals. In addition to that, doing simple things like being willing to help them with some things like just participating in the screen could be one thing that you could do.
If you or a loved one are struggling with mental health, please reach out to someone trusted. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Kira Miller.
The U.S. can be described as the melting pot of cultures. Savannah Miller explores more into the Peruvian style locally in Lancaster County.
El Serrano is a well-known eating establishment adored by Lancaster residents, but many are less familiar with the name that brought this style of cuisine to the Northern Hemisphere.
Manuel Torres is the founder and owner of the El Serrano restaurants located in York and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. From growing up in an average town in West Peru located in South America, he and his family relocated to the United States when Torres was 19 years old, with him and his sisters striving to accomplish large goals that they have set for themselves.
My sisters came to the States and my sisters were in the catering business. And I was more into construction, and it was a time where I saw a restaurant. I went to a restaurant that I did like, and then I thought, wow, I can do this.
The name El Serrano holds a personal place in Manuel's heart, always wanting the restaurant to be a reminder of his home country.
Then my dad was a big developer, he was a builder, and he had 300 or 400 people working for him, and those people were Serrano people. And then when I did read through this book about the Serrano pepper, I thought, that's it. This is the name.
Many people know El Serrano by its large and unique building structure and style. The building that is standing on Columbia Avenue has been a work to bring many valuable pieces from Peru to make the building what it is today. With the fine details in every carving to traveling artifacts, El Serrano creates an ambiance to help customers feel a connection with the owner's homeland.
If you wanted to come to my restaurant, I wanted you to feel that you went out of the United States in a little tiny quick trip. You know, we wanted you to feel like you were in Peru. I think I have accomplished that. I love it if I can make it happen not only with the food, with the ambience, with a memory. When you are in a lunchtime, you rush, you eat because you had to go back to work. If you're gonna go out to eat in a dinner, it's about the experience, it's about the time. Take your time when you eat, enjoy the evening, enjoy the dinner.
All three restaurants that make up the essence of the Peruvian culture here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, hold a special place in people's hearts. And the community continues to share about how the restaurant and its staff has impacted them and others.
Very welcoming, very welcoming, yes.
Oh, they're really friendly, they're really nice to us, they really know us.
I think what people love about El Serrano is how big and family-oriented it is.
Through the many years of El Serrano, the Torres family has taken good care of what they worked for.
Always take care of your people because they will take care of you.
The tradition and style of El Serrano will hold its place for many years to come, and the journey that has been taken for Manuel to get where he is today can be a path that others can follow in the rising generations. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Savannah Miller. The Messicks Light Show is a fun way for families to celebrate the holiday season. Josiah Pletcher went to discover more about this festive show that takes place every year.
Families set up light displays to celebrate the holiday season. Messicks Farm Equipment takes light displays to a whole nother level.
Messicks is a local farm equipment supplier here in Lancaster. For the past 9 years, they have been hosting a light show during the holiday season.
Started out as something we just kind of put a couple lights on a couple tractors. Each year we try to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit better, so we add new elements, different equipment or different special effects. One year we had fire, one year we had snow. This year we did a lot more to the tractors in the back and made the tree a little better. So kind of every year it's kind of become bigger and better, keeps progressing.
A lot of work and time goes into making the light show possible.
I think this year's about 5 of us involved. It's kind of a shared group effort. We all pitch in to get it all done. It's obviously a big effort and takes a lot of setup work, a lot of programming work, and then just a lot of troubleshooting work. You can imagine with all the wires and connectors, you know, when you flip the switch on the first time, it does not work. So there's a lot of jiggling of wires and replacing cables to make it all come together.
All of this work leads to a successful show that is seen by countless numbers of families.
Early on in the month, if the weather's not good, we might only have 40 or 50 cars, but certainly by like the weekends before Christmas, we'll have upwards 300, 340 cars a night. And over the years, people have made it their personal tradition, and a lot of people come out for it.
The Gerlach family has a unique tradition when it comes to the Messicks Light Show.
Well, we actually never went to the light show to do the light show. We've only been to the light show to be volunteers. So my job always is to greet all the cars because there's a big line of them. And I go down the cars and greet them and give them a brochure and that explains what the light show is. My husband and son-in-law or my sister and brother-in-law, they park the cars. And usually when it's all done and the last cars are parked at around 10 o'clock at night for the last show, then we go out and usually watch it.
The light show has made many great memories for families. However, they are not the ones most affected by the light show.
We take donations on the way out. There's a bucket when you leave the show. Someone will have a bucket there. You just drop the money in, and then we collect that money. And at the end of the month, we cut 4 checks to each one of the charities. It gets split evenly. It goes to Paxton Street in Harrisburg, Water Street in Lancaster, Mennonite Disaster Service, which serves all over the country and the world, and E-Town Community Covers.
The Messicks Light Show has raised over $317,000 for charities over the past 8 years.
You know, it just brings a joy, you know, and in this age and everyone's complaining and just not being happy. Honestly, everyone is so wonderful and so kind, and I think it's contagious.
The Messicks Light Show is always a great way to celebrate the holiday season, but more importantly, it is a great way to light up the lives of others who need it. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Josiah Pletcher.
I'm looking forward to the spring musical.
I'm looking forward to spending time with my best friend, Carolyn.
I'm looking forward to spending time with my best friend, Julia.
Woo! Yay!
I'm looking forward to dance theater.
I'm looking forward to the spring musical.
I'm looking forward to doing new things and eating new food.
My resolution is to not have my cell phone be part of my body. So basically to have it away from me as much as possible, like not in my pocket, not in my hand. And my plans are to use music to connect people.
I want to stretch more.
Is that I want to learn how to ice skate to ride a bike. For me and my mom and my family to lose weight. Watch Spider-Man. I'm going to stop running nose. I want to go to Great Wolf Lodge, how to see my legs set. When I grow up, I want to learn how to clean up my toys better. For me, to swim better. Just to get outside a little more and exercise. Get stronger. Becoming a better reader. Exercising. I'm going to listen to my mom more. And exercise. I play ball.
You want to play ball more?
Yes.
Here at Hempfield High School, there are many extracurricular activities, including winter sports like wrestling. The Hempfield wrestling team is preparing for a very successful season.
I wasn't originally planning to wrestle in the high school team my freshman year. I was like, oh, I'll just do junior high for a season. But after considering it, I was like, you know what? They kind of needed 220. I wrestled 220 my freshman year. I was like, you know what? They need someone at my weight, so I might as well bump up. And that was absolutely the right decision.
Caleb has since moved up the ranks and has shown progress as an athlete.
Ranking 13th in the state, which is fantastic. I'm feeling really good about the season. Coming out of my first tournament, I went 3-0 with 2 pins. So great start to the season.
But when he was a lowerclassman, these accomplishments seemed too far distant.
At the time, I just wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't know what I was doing sometimes, and yeah.
Moving up as an upperclassman, Caleb refused to settle for less.
I wrestled a lot in the off season. I started working with a previous Hempfield alum. I don't know if you know the name Joey Goodhart, but yeah, he's pretty much the only reason why I am where I am right now.
Now, both Caleb and his coaches have high ambitions for this season.
We're hoping to win districts this year, and with that, we'll qualify for states. Hopefully, make it pretty far in states. We'll have a good season this year.
I think we have really high expectations. It's pretty clear that we're interested in becoming the district champ, maybe the first team in LL to ever be district champs. It's going to be a tough task, but we're right there in the mix, so we got a lot of work to do, but we're on the right trajectory.
The wrestling program is built on excellence, and wrestlers like Caleb know that, leading them into success.
Best program in the county, hands down. Best program in the district. We have fantastic coaches who push us to do our best.
The wrestling team is on full throttle now, ready to pin the competition.
For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Vince Wazotsky.
This past fall, Hempfield had many successful sports teams, including the cross-country team. They had many achievements building up to their final race at the 2021 state meet.
Saturday, November 5th was the cross-country state meet. The varsity boys team and 2 individual runners from the girls team were able to compete. Before the big race, however, they shared their goals for the close of the season.
The goal, both individually and as a team, are both to win. I know definitely as a team we have the potential to win. There's us and 2-3 really good teams, but I think if we run our race, and we can definitely come out on top.
I'm really excited to cheer on the guys, and I think it's definitely a winnable meet. So yeah, I kind of just want to be there to give them advice and to motivate them.
I'm really excited. I'm really glad I have my friend Molly to run with me. I know it's going to be a big meet, but I'm just going to have fun and enjoy it.
I don't really have any goals. Just getting to states was kind of my goal, so just kind of have fun.
In the past 3 years, the Hempfield boys cross-country team has had numerous achievements and awards, including being undefeated in the regular season and being the league and district champions for 2 years in a row.
I'm excited. I'm kind of nervous, but it'll be fun.
I'm so excited to run.
I am so excited.
Up first were Ella and Molly. They both did very well, Ella running sub 20 minutes and Molly sub 21. It was a great way to finish a very successful season.
Good. Those hills were brutal.
That was interesting. That was fun.
1950 something.
2050 something.
The boys ran second. They were led by junior Aiden Hodge, who medaled in 20th, followed by junior Joe Farney, freshman Sam Myers, junior Isaiah Hollinger, senior Dale Winan, sophomore Emerson Long, and sophomore Sam Friedman. They unfortunately didn't achieve their goal of becoming state champions due to some unexpected factors. However, they finished as a team being 10th in the state. Despite the disappointment, they are still optimistic about their chances for next year, with 6 of their top 7 runners returning.
So it went well, overall. It definitely didn't go what we were expecting it to, because we went in there and we really wanted to win. And that didn't happen, but we still learned a lot from it, and it was definitely a valuable experience.
Overall, both teams had a great season and are looking forward to what comes next. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Paige Harrington.
Well, as you can see, we are finally in the heart of the winter season. School students like me now use our technology to connect on days when we are at home for the weather, like I'm currently doing now. Anyway, that's a wrap on this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to join us next month when our news and film crews travel to the campus of Penn State University of State College, Pennsylvania. For more stories like these, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, Hempfield Happenings. Thank you, stay warm, and have a happy new year.